Penfold is a Midwest emo band that was formed between the years roughly 1996 or 1997. They had 3 albums, first being Your Eyes Have All the Answers in 1997, Amateurs and Professionals, which was released in 1998, and 2001's Our First Taste of Escape. They performed over hundreds of live shows, and they disbanded in March of 2003. I would say it was roughly between late 2018 or early 2019 when I heard I'll Take You Everywhere for the first time, which is off of Amateurs and Professionals. And at the time, in the Discover Weekly on Spotify, I think there was also Heaven Sent by Trophy Eyes and Drug Lord by William Bonney. And when I heard I'll Take You Everywhere for the first time, and to this day I have not found a song or a band that can beat that song, or this song. And this song is very special to me in the ways of how everybody interprets the song will be different, but the way how I see things is that even before the lyrics, there's the overall tone, and yeah, it goes together with the album so well. And I think probably my favorite part about it is that it's not a closing track. Even though it could be a closing track, it's not. I think it's like the 3rd song off the album, and it sounds like a closer, but it's not. But then you get the other stuff afterwards. But the best way to describe the overall tone of this album is the feeling you get when you look at a photograph from the 1900s. You look at that place, whether it be the town you already live in, where it looks differently. It was a different time, it was a simpler time, and despite the lyrics of the song, it's a very welcoming song. I think that's the best way to put it. Now there's the vocals. My favorite artist of all time cannot create a song or even an album that's remotely close to what Brian Carley had put out. His voice, I don't know how to describe it. Like, yes, when you listen to the song, you'd be like, okay, this is definitely 90s. That's not a bad thing. There's my second closest artist I can even think of, or even band wise, would have to be Mineral, because yes, I think roughly they started in the same year. Chris Simpson both Chris Simpson and Chris have very different voices, and I don't really know how to exactly describe, but it's like there's a difference between, your whiny, like Texas Is the Reason, or I wouldn't say Promise Ring, and these two. Well, they're pouring their heart out within, or going back to Penfold, Brian is pouring his heart out within these lyrics. In case this song can, like I said before, this song can be interpreted in different ways. The way it's called "I'll Take You Everywhere," so the first thing I can really think of is actually, as honestly, it could be used in at least the beginning of it could definitely be used in an indie movie, because it sounds a very indie compared to, well, I mean, it was that era. so it was the era beginning for the indie scene technically, or like where at least they started branching out. So yes, I would definitely say that. And there's two sections within this song. There's your build up, which is phenomenal. It really, you're listening to it and you're like, you're not going to be like, okay, come on, like what's next? No, you're going up the escalator and you're waiting to get to the top, and then when it starts playing, you realize that it starts off slow, and when it's slow, you really have that impact that, like, you know, someone like that typical 90s emo slow sound with like the math rock, not math rock, but like the Midwest emo slow. No, I think twinkly is the right term. And it's like you're in the scene which Brian describes, where he's talking about the past. Actually, I think we should now move on to lyrics. Now, the lyrics, oh my God. I really have a hard time when people ask me the question, what do you think is the best song ever written? And to be honest, the first thing I say is, well, before we even start, I think you should listen to this song. And yes, a lot of the time people really have it makes a really tough competition because people really don't know what to say to the song. Not to mention, they don't expect me to be like, wow, dude, you like something like that? Or like, yes. So I'm gonna start by reading the lyrics. Painted skies and shining stars remind us of the hours that we spent at the dining room table, drawing pictures of nothing important. That is, again, we talking about the whole indie thing. This definitely seems like something that you would, honestly, again, like the whole 90s Midwest emo feel with, like, I always think about, like, whenever I think of the 90s, I think of, like, easily the American football house. And I could, like, just instantly picture staring at the stars while listening to this song. And while I don't have my exact meaning for it, or my interpretation of the meaning for this song is, in fact, it sounds kind of like a breakup, but it could also be someone that's gone for good. And like those are like my two interpretations. It does, you know, like during that time, yes, it was a lot of that stuff was about breakups and girls. But I also can see this looking at this in a way that someone died and they're never coming back. As I continue, everything we loved, and even though our fingers got sore and our eyes began to ache, we would never stop. It says we would never stop twice. It's these things created by tiny hands that were hung on walls and wrapped as gifts. Acted as the words we never said but wish we had before you left. Again, this is something that, this is where like instantly you already know what this is about. I mean, if the title wasn't obvious enough, reading that, you already know what you're getting into. It's too late before you left. It's too late to tell you that I care. I'm wishing you were here, and I think it would be better if you had never left at all, which is something that I think a lot of people can agree with when it comes to having to lose someone, whether it be a breakup or distance, or even just if they died in general. And I think it would be better if you have never left. Oh wait, did I already say that? I think it would be better. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. And I think it would be better if you had never left at all. This place is not the same without the smile on your face, and if you were here, then I would take you everywhere. Another thing that I need to mention is that they use the title for the ending of the song, which is just, it was a perfect choice, because this does, when it comes to my songwriting, I think most often or not, a lot of people, if they want to be smart, they end up putting the ending, or the song where the title is at the end is normally the closer of whatever album you're putting out. And honestly, I would say, this would have been a perfect closer, but I wouldn't be speaking about this if it was a closer. I'd be saying this is the best closer of all time. I wouldn't be saying this is the best song of all time, because they knew what they had on their hands. They knew people were going to be singing this song to the day they'll die, because it wasn't a closer. And when you think about it, yes, bands, I can't name I can't name all the bands, but most one-hit wonders, or even maybe early mid-2000s, the bands that people forgotten about, a lot of their most popular songs were closers. And this is why this song is just so special to me, because it does everything different that a normal song that I would listen to would normally do. The last thing I need to mention is that the send-off is a very good send-off. It's essentially a hardcore, it's not hardcore, but it's essentially like a fast speed up of the before breakdown, and then the breakdown, oh my god, one of my favorite breakdowns, just for the sound alone. And then there's the he ends up screaming, and I think it's too late. It's too late to tell you that I care about. Too late to tell you that I care, and I'm wishing you were here. And I think it would be better if you never left at all. He's screaming those lyrics because he's really trying to convey the message that yes, he misses this person, and he wants that, and he would want to take them. He would want to spend the time with them that if he had the chance. And that's the reason why in my top 3 list of favorite albums, this is number 1. Number 2 is Stories and Alibis by Matchbook Romance, which is more off. Again, that I'll cover that another time. That again, that's feel, lyrics, and vocals. And 3 would have to be. 3 is a really tough one. I'm thinking about changing it. At the moment, it's probably Trainwreck by Boys Night Out, which is just a phenomenal theatrical album that's almost can be used as a Broadway play, which is another one that needs to be covered at some point as well. But yes, those are my thoughts on this song. I'm gonna see if it's possible to include it as the outro, so you can listen to, or not the outro, I'm gonna, for the rest of the video, I'm gonna let it play, and you can let me know what you think of it. Peace.